Good afternoon, student. Today's class is the thyroid gland. Today we will know the anatomical position and the different relation of the thyroid gland. Look at this specimen. This is the thyroid gland. It is brownish in color and it is covered by some capsule. This is the capsule. This capsule is formed by a true capsule and a false capsule. The true capsule, it is formed by the gland itself. It is the fibrous part of the gland. And the false capsule, it is the outer covering of this thyroid gland, and it is formed by this pretracheal fascia. Okay, so at first come to the point. These things, these are the lobes of this thyroid gland. This is the left lobe and this is the right lobe, and in between the part which connect these two lobes, this part, this is the isthmus of the thyroid gland. So this is the left lobe and this is the right lobe, and this part, each lobe, it is conical in shape, and this part is the apex of this lobe or this upper pole. So apex or this upper pole of this right lobe, and this is the lower pole. Similarly, it is the upper pole of the left lobe and this part is the lower pole of the left lobe, and this is the isthmus. The thin part, it is the isthmus. So come to this location of this thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is located in this anterior aspect of this neck at the level of this 5th, 6th and 7th cervical vertebra and this first thoracic vertebra. From anterior, you can say it is situated behind this strap muscle of this neck, infrahyoid muscle of the neck, and anterior to this lower part of this trachea and this some superior tracheal rings. Then come to this point. So this is the apex, this is the lower pole, this is the upper pole, lower pole, and in each lobe there is 3 border and the 3 surface. The border which goes towards this isthmus, and from this upper border of the isthmus, this part, it is the anterior border, and this border, this rounded part, this border, it is the lateral border, and this border which comes from this upper pole and goes towards this lower pole, this is the posterior border. So this is the anterior border, it goes towards the apex, and this is the lateral border, it is more or less rounded, and this is the posterior border. So there are 3 surfaces. This is the superficial surface, and this is the lateral surface, and this is the posterior surface. Okay, so come to the anatomical position of this gland. At first, hold this thyroid gland by 2 hands like this, and then it bend posteriorly so that as if it covers a pipe. Look at this inside of these things behind this isthmus part, as if it looks that it covers a pipe by these 2 lobes, by this. At first hold like this, then it bend posteriorly and move like this, as if it covers, as it partially covers the trachea or the lower part of the larynx. Okay, this is the exact anatomical position. So come to this lobe. So this is the upper pole, and this upper pole you may find one artery. This is the superior thyroid artery. The superior thyroid artery, it comes from this external carotid artery. It is the first branch of this external carotid artery, and it supplies almost most part of this thyroid gland and the isthmus. And in this lower pole there is one artery. This is the inferior thyroid artery. It comes from this thyrocervical trunk. It covers only this posterior or some lower part of this posterior part, some part of this posterior region, and this lower part of this gland. And this isthmus part, it is supplied by the superior thyroid artery and sometimes the thyroid ema artery. The superior thyroid artery of this both side, it has two branches. One is the anterior branches and one is the posterior branches. This anterior branches forms an anastomosis on this upper border of this isthmus. This anterior branches, this superior thyroid artery comes here, it divided. This anterior branches forms an anastomosis on this upper border of this isthmus. And sometimes one direct branch from this arch of aorta, it is known as the thyroid ema artery. It comes from this below and goes to this lower border of this isthmus and supply this part. So relation of this lobe. Okay, this anterior relation we may call, this is the skin, superficial fascia, the deep fascia, and the fascia covering the muscle which is known as the strap muscle of this neck or the infrahyoid muscle. And then come to this anterior layer of this pretracheal fascia. This anterior layer of the pretracheal fascia covers this part, all things. And posteriorly there is the two tubes, two muscles and the two nerves. The two tubes are this lower part of this larynx and this upper part of this trachea, and the lower part of the pharynx and this upper part of this esophagus. And the two muscle, these are the inferior constrictor muscle. It is related to this surface. This is the medial surface, and this cricothyroid muscle. And this lateral surface, it is related to the content of this carotid sheath. The carotid sheath is located here. Okay. So during surgery, during thyroidectomy, this thyroid gland is removed whole. So during removal of this gland, there must take precaution to cut this artery. The superior thyroid artery, it must be cut near the gland, because this external laryngeal nerve, it accompanies the superior thyroid artery, but near the upper pole of this gland, it goes towards this larynx and it leaves the accompany of this superior thyroid artery. So you may cut here. And in case of inferior pole or this lower pole, the recurrent laryngeal nerve, it comes in between this trachea and the esophagus, and this inferior thyroid artery accompany this recurrent laryngeal nerve near this pole. So during removal, the inferior thyroid artery must be cut away from the gland. Okay. So come to the isthmus. This isthmus part. The isthmus part, it is connecting these two lobes. It is about 1.25 centimeter in height and width. And this part is supplied mostly by the superior thyroid artery and this thyroid artery ema or thyroid ema artery. Then come to this relation. This part is related to the second, third and fourth tracheal ring. Okay. So come to this weight of this gland. It is about 25 to 30 gram in weight, and it is heavier in case of female and child. Then come to this venous drainage. You know this, the superior thyroid artery, along with this there is the superior thyroid vein. The superior thyroid vein, and there is one medial thyroid vein. The superior thyroid vein and the middle thyroid vein, it drain into the internal jugular vein, and below there is the inferior thyroid vein. This inferior thyroid vein, it forms an anastomotic, a venous plexus near this lower border of the isthmus, and from this region the vein goes downward and ultimately drain into the subclavian vein. So during surgery there must be some precaution during cutting of this part which lies below this isthmus, because there is a venous plexus and sometimes there is thyroid ema artery. If you cut this thyroid ema artery and do not ligate it or cauterized it, there may be profuse bleeding, and this profuse bleeding may cause a hematoma and it compress this larynx, and there may be breathing difficulty after a few hours of this thyroid surgery. Not only that, during tracheostomy operation, you know the tracheostomy operation, there is a small hole below this cricoid cartilage. During this, there must be precaution to avoid this thyroid ema artery, or there may be some profuse bleeding. Sometimes this ema artery, after cutting, may contract or may goes towards this thyroid thoracic cavity, and then there is a bleeding in this thoracic cavity, and this is more difficult to manage. You know the development of this gland. This gland is mainly developed from the second pharyngeal pouch, and from the second pharyngeal pouch, at first from the floor of the primitive mouth near the base of the tongue, a median thyroid diverticulum forms, and this thyroid diverticulum, it ultimately forms this most of the part of this thyroid gland, and this lateral thyroid rudiment, it forms this lower part of this gland. At first it is developed in this floor of this primitive oral cavity, then it goes downwards and settled in this visceral space of this neck. During this movement there is one diverticular remnant. Sometimes there may be one diverticular remnant. This is known as the thyroglossal cyst. If there is median thyroid diverticulum persist in any area of this neck during descent, this is known as the thyroglossal cyst, and this cyst move during degradation. Ki holo, this lower part of this thyroglossal duct, the lower part of this thyroglossal duct, which is formed due to descent of this thyroid gland, this lower part may present, or the lower part may form one part of the thyroid gland near the isthmus, on the upper pole of the isthmus. This is known as the pyramidal lobe of this thyroid, or the third lobe of the thyroid. And from this third lobe of the thyroid or this isthmus, sometimes some fibrous tissue or the muscular tissue may goes towards the hyoid bone. This is known as the levator glanduli thyroidi. It holds the thyroid in the position. During removal of this thyroid gland or thyroidectomy, this levator glanduli thyroidi, this pretracheal fascia, this posttracheal fascia, the posterior of the pretracheal fascia, pyramidal lobe, or this artery, vein should be removed cautiously. Okay. So this is the thyroglossal cyst. This thyroglossal cyst, it moves during degradation because the thyroid gland and the part of this cyst is also covered by this pretracheal fascia. There is one disease known as the goiter. In case of goiter, the thyroid is enlarged very much, and sometimes there may be hyperthyroidism, or known as the Graves' disease. In case of enlargement of thyroid with hyperthyroidism, it is known as the Graves' disease. Sometimes there is hypothyroidism, there is destruction of this thyroid hormone inside this gland. This autoimmune disorder, this is known as the hypothyroidism, like this Hashimoto thyroiditis. Okay, then come to the lymphatic drainage of this gland. This upper pole, from this upper pole and most of the part, the lymphatic goes upward, or ascending lymphatics, it goes to the deep cervical node or the prelaryngeal node, and from this lower part some descending lymph node goes downwards to the pretracheal, prelaryngeal lymph node. Okay, the nerve supply of this nerve supply of this gland, the parasympathetic supply by this vagus nerve, branch of the vagus nerve, and the sympathetic supply from the superior, middle and inferior ganglion. But this nerve supply do not influence the hormone secretion of this gland. The hormone secretion, the thyroid hormone secretion, is mainly dependent on this pituitary gland, and it secrete mainly T3, T4 hormone. T3 means triiodothyronine and T4 means thyroxine. Okay, and it helps in metabolism of this protein mainly. Okay, so today you will learn this thyroid gland. I will show you some picture after this video, and it will also help you to know this gland better. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, student. If you go through this diagram, you can understand the development of the thyroid. At the base of the primitive mouth, during the development of the tongue, there is foramen cecum formation of. From this foramen cecum, one endodermal diverticulum known as the median thyroid diverticulum, it appears, and it is the main part which forms this thyroid gland. At the primitive mouth, it at first developed the median thyroid diverticulum, and when the gestational age increase, this diverticulum elongate, and ultimately it goes up to the thyroid cartilage, and below this thyroid cartilage. In this thyroid cartilage, below this region, it divides into two and forms this main part of this thyroid gland. During the descent, this part of this diverticulum, it forms this thyroglossal duct, one duct. During the process of maturation inside the womb, this thyroglossal duct ultimately disappear, and the main part of the glands, it remains in this position, and it forms this thyroid gland. Okay, this lower part of this thyroglossal duct, this part is known as the pyramidal lobe of this thyroid gland, which is attached to the isthmus of this gland, and this part, whole of this part is disappeared. But if some part persists, this is known as the thyroglossal cyst. Go to this picture, then you can find it. If the remnant persists, this forms this remnant of the thyroglossal duct, it forms the cyst. Okay, and this is the pyramidal lobe. This is the development of this thyroid gland. This thyroglossal cyst, it is connected to this thyroid gland, and when the patient try to declude something, this thyroglossal cyst move up and down. The other things like lymph node enlargement or any abscess on the neck, it cannot move during decludation, but this thyroglossal cyst, it can move because it is covered by fascia, retracheal fascia. And this part is the pyramidal lobe, and some part remnant of this thyroglossal duct, it is known as the levator glanduli thyroidi. It is a fibrous part of this thyroglossal duct. Then come to the first image. This image, it explains the blood supply of the thyroid gland. This image explains the blood supply of this thyroid gland. You can find this blood supply. This is the superior thyroid artery. It is the first branch of this external carotid artery. The superior thyroid artery, after originating, it goes downward and medially and goes to the upper pole of this thyroid gland. this part is accompanied by this, the upper part of this artery is accompanied by the external laryngeal nerve. This region is supplied by this inferior thyroid artery. The inferior thyroid artery is a branch of this thyroglossal trunk. And this part, there is an N1 nerve accompanied by this region. This is the recurrent laryngeal nerve by the both side. Okay, if we go to the next slide, you can find this venous drainage also. In this venous drainage, there is one differences. There is a superior thyroid vein, this is the inferior thyroid vein, both drain into this internal jugular vein, and this is the superior, middle and the inferior thyroid vein. Okay, inferior thyroid vein. This inferior thyroid vein, it may be two, or the inferior thyroid vein, after coming from this lower border of this thyroid gland, it joined together and forms one vein, one innominate vein, and then again it goes to the subclavian vein. Okay, and in this region from this arch of aorta, there may be one direct vein, no direct artery. It supplies this part. It is known as the thyroidema artery. During dissection of this thyroid, this vein, artery, and this thyroidema artery, it is cut very cautiously. Okay, then come to this picture. You are seeing some dots. These are the superior and inferior parathyroid gland, and it is located at this posterior surface of this gland. It is a small pea-like structure embedded within the sheath or capsule of this gland. One is near this base or the lower pole of this gland, thyroid gland, and another at the middle of this posterior surface of this gland. These are the superior and these are the inferior parathyroid gland. Okay, the parathyroid gland are closely attached with this gland, the thyroid gland. Then come to this. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.